Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. I trust that you are well today. Um, it is May the 4th, and I'm not going to, I'm not going to do any of the things, maybe that I'm not going to. I'll leave that to y'all, and I'll leave that to the real enthusiasts. Oh, we'll have a delicious cup of coffee, though. And I love the smell of jet fuel in the morning cup. From my friend Premier One Driver. Uh, you know, what is interesting about doing these podcasts over the many years that I've done them, 15 years, I guess we've been doing, a podcast from, in one form or another. We started the Willie Lawson Show or the Rational Black Man Show on Blog Talk Radio back on March 25th, 2008. Youch. So that's like 15 years ago, right? So we've done a few thousand podcasts. We had the AM radio show for a while, 22 weeks on AM radio. So we've done a lot of broadcasting and saying things. And one of the things that we say, and we say all the time, and we say it because it's true, is that the left that controls the media is very selective about the stuff they push and the stuff they pull. They're very selective. The worst thing you can do is think that they're dumb. They're not dumb. The worst thing they can do is think that they're stupid. They're not. They're very, very selective in the stories they push at you and the stories that they pull from you. And the story that we're going to talk about today is one of those stories. Now we already talked about this, and our prediction has come true. In Texas, in Cleveland, Texas, there was a murder committed by an illegal alien against 5 other illegal aliens. And I know some of you, terrible thing to think, but and the assailant apparently used an AR-15. Now, if that assailant had been white and had a big Trump sign out in front of his yard, we would all seen this story 24/7 without fail in newspapers, on websites, on CNN and MSNBC, NPR. We would have never ever, we'd know every detail. We would have seen this, and David Hogg would be there, and what an appropriate name for a pig like David Hogg. Anyway, we would have seen all of this because the property of propaganda against the Second Amendment and your participation in the Second Amendment would have been in full force. But you see, a couple of their worlds collide when you can't advocate for open borders and then at the same time, mention that some of these folks that come across the border aren't all good people. They aren't all Maria and Jose and their children looking for a better life. And we stole this property from them, so we should allow them in and give them a better life. Well, you can't really say that when the person is someone who's been deported five times, and killed an entire family of Hondurans execution style. So maybe this guy isn't looking for a better life. Maybe he isn't somebody who is just misled. You think? Maybe not. Maybe he's a cold-blooded murderer who's insane. Maybe he's a mad dog that needs to be put down. Maybe. Just saying, maybe. But he doesn't fit the narrative, does he? Not at all. He doesn't fit the narrative one bit. So we haven't seen this story, and you haven't seen it a lot either. Most of the time, you've heard it from me or you've heard it from someone like me, and that's how you know anything about it. You would have not known anything about it had it been left up to CNN. You know, so this horrific mass shooting that occurred in I think it's Cleveland, Texas, an entire family from Honduras was wiped out, gunned down by their neighbor, who used an AR-15 rifle to commit the crime. The liberal press, the leftist press, would have been all over this, exploiting mass shootings to peddle anti-gun talking points, and it provides them a platform was to attack, of course, Republican Governor Greg Abbott. They won't do it. The suspect is an illegal alien. Almost all the victims were here illegally. The attention to this tragedy would only bolster the Republican position that illegal immigration is rightly out of control and that vicious crimes emanate from it. You know, I don't know. There was a dude that ended up being president that once said, you know, that Mexico's not sending us their best and brightest. They're sending us their criminals, their murderers, their rapists. Here it is. Illegal immigration from Mexico, an illegal immigrant from Mexico who had been previously deported multiple times is the suspect in the killing of a family from Honduras and is currently on the run from a large law enforcement manhunt. The San Jacinto County Sheriff Greg Capers told reporters they held Francisco Orpeza consulate card, which linked him to the shooting. Police say that he shot 5 of his neighbors with an AR-15, including a 9-year-old boy, after they asked him to stop shooting on his property late at night. They asked him to stop shooting, so he just mowed him down to shot him. Mr. Orpeza has had multiple deportations under his belt and is known to the immigration enforcement officials. His wife was recently arrested in connection to the murders, according to ABC 13. Several arrests were made when the mass murder suspect was taken into custody on Tuesday, including that of his domestic partner. District Attorney Todd Dillon said in an update on Wednesday. This dirtbag was captured at about 6:15 p.m. and in Cut and Shoot, Texas. Texas, y'all got Cut and Shoot. Where are you from? I'm from a little town called Cut and Shoot. Damn, what kind of place is that? It's a city in Montgomery County, about 11 miles from the crime scene. According to officials, he was found inside a home, hiding in a closet underneath the pile of laundry. Orpeza is accused of shooting and killing 5 of his neighbors, including a 3rd grader in San Jacinto County. Well, 3rd grade, maybe 9 years old, maybe probably 8. I was 8. Depends on when your birthday is. If Orpeza were white, and I said this, if he were white, had a big Trump sign out in front of his house, it'd have been wall-to-wall coverage. With Joe Biden releasing his pre-written ban assault weapons remarks, but no, that won't happen. And for obvious political reasons. The media did find one way to criticize Abbott, who said all the victims were illegal aliens. And I saw this tweet that he didn't have to say these people who were murdered were illegal aliens. Well, they were. One might have been a legal resident, as if the real takeaway here, that's the real thing. Yeah. So Governor Greg Abbott expressed regret Monday after facing intense criticism for labeling all the victims of the Cleveland shooting rampage as illegal immigrants, even though it appears that at least one of them was not. But this is what they chose to focus on. If this, folks, friends, haters, if these kind of things don't let you know what these people are up to, I don't know what they have to do. I don't know what they have to do. What do you have to see? Abbott's office issued a statement Monday after that suggested an unnamed federal officials provided mistaken information, including that all 5 victims were in the country illegally. Since Abbott's initial comment Sunday, evidence has surfaced that one of the victims was a permanent legal resident of the United States. We have since learned that at least one of the victims may have been in the U.S. legally. Abbott spokesperson Renee Easy said, "We regret the information was incorrect and detracted from the important goal of finding and arresting the criminal." Because the media wasn't focused on arresting this criminal, this illegal alien that killed an entire family of Hondurans. They were not focused on that at all. It became focused that Greg Abbott, whom they hate, labeled all the victims as illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. That's what they chose to focus on. Maybe this brutal crime wouldn't have happened if we got control of our southern border. Just saying. Not for nothing. And kept criminal aliens like Orpeza out of the country or in jail. And this is the whole thing. Some things you can't prevent, but you can take steps to push down the probability of them taking place. So if you had control over the southern border, maybe this guy doesn't get in 5 times. Maybe he doesn't get deported 5 times. Maybe he doesn't get deported and get deported 5 times. And who knows how many times he's been here? He only got caught 5 times. Who knows if he just walks across the border like ain't nobody's business? Who knows? If something, my thought is, and your thought is, that if he's been deported 5 times, those weren't the only times that he's been here doing whatever. Not that, got to say this because, you see, people on the left think that we're stupid. They think that we're stupid. And we're not. And they will say stuff that we're not saying. Because nobody is saying that all Mexicans are bad. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. But what I am saying is that there are terrible people in the US, and there are terrible people in Mexico, and there are terrible people in Colombia, and there are terrible people in Honduras, and there are terrible people in Canada. Hard to believe. Canada has murders. There are terrible people in Japan and Korea and North and South and Vietnam, because there are terrible people. We live in a sinful, fallen world, and there are terrible people. Can we become completely safe? Not at all. Not possible. Not possible that we could become completely safe. But we can go a good distance to keep these kind of things from happening by simply following the laws, the regulations that we already have in place. No new laws, no new regulation, no new anything. All that's already been written. Can we just do that? Maybe the leftist media doesn't care because it wasn't a family protected, of the protected class. Maybe it was Hondurans and they don't care about Hondurans. Maybe they don't. Maybe they say they care about Black and brown people, but they don't. Except, they don't, especially when Black and brown people kill other Black and brown people. They don't care at all. Chicago. Tell me what you think in the comments. Write down in the comments what you think. What do you think about us doing the simulcast? We're doing the show live on Spreaker right now, and putting up the YouTube video. Tell me what you think. So you will see both of them on the fightbackmedia.com page. Up there, you will up there, up there, you're going to see the audio version, and down here in the big box down there, you'll see the video version. Tell me what you think. All right, we got to get out of here, make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.